as you had started before too, we need to also educate our educators so they can also have those discussions. And as your niece who wasn't learning about climate in school, but hearing it elsewhere, we need to see that that becomes part of K through 12 education. And it isn't there in most schools and most counties and most states. It's beginning to be realized it needs to be, but it is something that we really need to work on so that young people actually learn about it through different disciplines across, curricular areas, and really understand that climate is this holistic, or not holistic, but this thing that it impacts every aspect of our lives. And they need to start learning that from a very early age, not just from us as the parent, but we should demand that happens through formal education as well.
How do you feel when you hear this just so disturbing trend of, more young people are depressed, understandably, and this is before COVID, but COVID isn't helping. And there is an environmental angle to pandemics, but that's for another day, that they're giving up, and they're not, many young women are choosing to not have children. You have two in their 20s. I have one who's engaged at 27, and I've never wanted anything more besides having her. She's my only, to have grandchildren, maybe especially a few, because I just had one. And it's my hope and excitement for them to get pregnant is so tinged with fear, sadness, and I don't know what to say to young people who choose not to have children. On the one hand, it's the most exciting, rewarding thing you can do, and at the same time, you can't argue with their logic.
Right. Well, it's a very personal choice, of course, and I think we have to respect that. And I talk about that in my book as well, too, briefly. But I think that we also, you never know, is it your child, your grandchild, who's going to be the one that's going to change, the world around them as well, too. And so I think that personal decision, in some ways, we're made to feel guilty, or young people, there's something, why are those reasons? And if it is, fear of the disaster that's going to unfold, that's fair enough. Or if it's guilt that my child puts another weight on the planet, I think we have to push that one off and can talk to them about that in a similar way that, or in a way that the whole recycling industry was created by bottling companies and marketing companies that, wanted to push that on us, how oil and gas companies are trying to push that personal footprint of what we're doing instead of demanding those that can change things to change things. So I think there's a lot of that, in there as well, too, that really we need to create, we have to do so much to clean up our planet, to give our planet a chance to heal so that we can continue, so that our grandchildren and our children's children have a world that is safe and that they can grow up in. There's lots that we can do that way. So I think that putting that onus on each individual that, you shouldn't have a child because of the weight of that child on our planet is a different conversation than that concern that, we're not going to do enough and the world is going to be unmanageable, which is very real. But I think with all of that knowledge, it's that personal choice. And I think that the discussion that's happening around it is really positive because it's waking us all up to, what is the future going to look like? What does the now look like? And how can we make it better? And as you and I know, and we talked about earlier, Betsy, right, time goes so fast. When we met, our children were, in middle school, high school, and now you're, going to, be going to a wedding soon. How does that happen?
Planning it now for October. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think, it goes fast. That the impacts that we're creating on our planet, what we're doing is happening fast, and we can't change it overnight, but we absolutely can slow it down. And then science is telling us that really the earth can heal faster than we thought. And we saw a glimpse of that, right, in that early part of COVID. And I think that was important. And we can make those comparisons and remind people to look back. Yes, people saw the Himalayas for the first time in 30 years. We saw animals in places that, we didn't expect it, in the canals of Venice, etc. But so the planet, if we get out of the way, will heal very quickly, but hopefully we won't have to get out of the way. We can just help it along. So having a child and bringing a child into that maybe will help that process as well.